You're 53. You haven't slept a full night in 11 years. There's a number you remember, not a phone number, a count. You know what it is. You stopped saying it out loud a long time ago. The first one kept you up for weeks. The last one barely kept you up at all. That's how you knew something inside you had gone quiet. The trouble with going quiet is you can't tell anymore whether you gotten calmer or whether you just stopped being the same person. The people around you can't tell either. That's the part that should scare you. It doesn't anymore. This is how it started. Not with a gun, not with a deal, with an envelope on a Tuesday when you were 14. Your father's gone. You don't say dead, you don't say left, you just say gone, and people stop asking. Your mother works doubles at the diner on 18th Avenue. She smells like fryer oil when she comes home, and she comes home late, and the apartment's quiet in a way that feels like a held breath. There's a social club on the corner, no sign on the door, just a frosted window and a hum you can hear from the sidewalk, an air conditioner running in a room where nobody's ever hot. The men inside play cards and drink espresso in little cups, and they don't rush. Nothing about them rushes. To a 14-year-old who's been hungry for quiet his whole life, that room looks like the only calm place in Brooklyn. A man everyone calls Carmine, not his real name, you learn later that nobody uses their real name, waves you over one afternoon. He puts a white envelope on the table. Run this to the barber shop on 86. Give it to the guy in the third chair. Don't look inside. Come back, there's a 20 in it for you. You don't look inside, you run it. The guy in the third chair doesn't even look up. He takes it, nods at the mirror, and you go. $20 for 10 minutes of walking. Your mother works 8 hours for that, and she comes home smelling like the fryer. You come home smelling like nothing. Carmine starts calling you kid. Then one Tuesday he calls you by your name. That's the first promotion. There's no card, no handshake. You just stop being invisible in that room. The man at the door starts nodding you through without a question. That's the pull. You don't get paid to carry envelopes. You get paid to be known. And being known at 14 with a quiet apartment and a tired mother feels like the first warm thing that's ever been yours. You don't know yet that warm things in that room have a temperature, and the temperature goes up. By 19, you're not carrying envelopes anymore. You're collecting. A deli behind on a loan, a numbers drop, a construction site that pays $100 a week to not have problems. You're not a member of anything. You're useful. That's a different kind of safety. A member is protected. An associate is tolerated for as long as the numbers are right. You start to understand the shape of the money. It doesn't flow down. It flows up. You collect 200, you hand 140 to the guy above you, and you keep 60, and you say thank you. That's the architecture. You don't build it, you just live in it. Your girlfriend, Maria, 3 years, the first person who ever made you laugh on purpose, asks you one night what you actually do. You're eating at her mother's table, fluorescent light, Sunday gravy. Her mother's in the kitchen and she can hear. You say, this and that. She puts her fork down. Don't do that to me, not here. What do? You look at her, you love her. You lie to her face, calmly, in her mother's kitchen, under that fluorescent light. Collections, for a guy, it's boring.
She watches you for a long second. She picks her fork back up. She doesn't believe you. She decides to believe you. You understand later that those are two different things, and only one of them is love. The cost of this stage isn't money. It's the version of you that could sit at that table and tell the truth. That version doesn't die loudly. He just stops showing up. You're 25 when the books open. That's the phrase, the books are open. It means a family is taking new members and you've been noticed long enough and sponsored and checked. Traditionally, you have to be Italian or Italian-American, and in most families, the father's side is what matters most. Your father's last name is what gets you through the door. You qualify. You don't think about it until that night. The room is somebody's basement, 2 capos, a picture of a saint on the table, a needle, a gun, a card. You're nervous in a way you can't name, because nobody's told you exactly what's about to happen, and that's the point. The not knowing is part of it. Your sponsor holds your hand, someone pricks your trigger finger, a drop of blood on the saint's card. They light it. You cup your hands and hold the burning paper, and they tell you what to say, and you say it, and the card turns to ash in your palms. And the ash is warm and it doesn't hurt, and that's almost worse, that it doesn't hurt, that you can do this and feel steady. You take the oath of silence, omertà. You don't cooperate, not ever, not for any reason, not to save yourself, not to save anyone. That's not a rule you follow, that's a person you become. After, they kiss you on both cheeks. Carmine, the one from the social club, the envelope, all of it, looks at you and says, quiet, like he's tired, "You did good. Keep your mouth shut." That's it. That's the whole ceremony. No music, no speech, a handshake that feels heavier than it should. Now you're a soldato, a soldier, the lowest official rank and somehow the safest and the most trapped at the same time. You're untouchable now. Nobody kills you without permission from above. That sounds like protection. Sit with it a minute. It also means your life is a decision that gets made in a room you're not invited into. You belong to a crew now. You answer to a capo. You kick money up. You're no longer useful. You're in. And the thing about being in is there's no door marked exit. There's no form. You will die in this, or go to prison in this, or get old in this. Those are the 3 off-ramps, and 2 of them are the same off-ramp. The scar over your eyebrow shows up around here. You don't talk about where. Nobody asks. That's the last courtesy this world gives you. It stops asking you to explain your bruises. By 33, you have a crew. 8 guys, some maids, some associates, looking at you the way you looked at Carmine at 14. That should feel like a rival. It mostly feels like weight. You run the rackets in a stretch of blocks. You settle the small fights. You decide which debts get leaned on and which get forgiven, and forgiving one costs you. So you forgive almost none. You take a cut of everything below you, and you kick a cut up to the administration above you, and the number in the middle is yours, and it is never, ever enough. Because enough isn't a number in this life. It's a feeling, and the feeling keeps moving away from you the closer you get. A kid in your crew, 19, name doesn't matter, comes to you one night in the back of the diner. He's shaking. He's in over his head on a loan. He owes the wrong people. He's looking at you the way you looked at Carmine. You have a choice. You can cover him, which makes you look soft and cost you, or you can let him drown, which makes you look strong and cost you something you can't count.
You let him drown. You don't even do it cruelly. You just don't reach. And you watch the last thing in him that trusted you go out like a pilot light. The money is real now. You buy your mother a house. She doesn't ask where. She doesn't ask. That's the gift you give her, and the theft you commit against her in the same gesture. You let her not know, and she lets herself not know, and you both call that love, and you both mean it. Carmine's gone by now. Heart attack, in a chair, in a quiet room, the way he'd have wanted. You're at the funeral, and you realize, standing there, that nobody in this world retires. Nobody gets old and plays with grandchildren and tells stories. They go to prison, or they go into the ground, or they just thin out. They stop being in the room one day, and nobody says how. That's the pull to the next stage. You look up the ladder and you realize the only direction that feels safe is up, and up is the direction with the worst air. 41. You're under boss now, second seat. The boss trusts you with the day-to-day because the boss can't be seen, can't be heard, can't be photographed. That's the whole job at the top. Insulation. Layers of people between you and the thing that actually happened. You are now one of those layers, and you understand finally that the layers exist so that when the law comes, it lands on a layer and stops, and the man at the top keeps breathing. You sit in rooms where decisions are made about people you've eaten dinner with. You nod. You don't raise your voice. Raising your voice is for men who don't have the title. You have the title. You say a name, once, quietly, and the room understands, and the name stops appearing at the table. There's a commission, you learn, or there was. The old one was built in 1931 after a war to keep the 5 families from tearing each other apart. The Gambino, the Genovese, the Lucchese, the Bonanno, the Colombo. They all learned the same lesson. War is bad for business. These days, nobody says much out loud. Messages move through representatives, favors, warnings, silences. And what comes down still comes down through men like you. Here's what nobody tells you about power. It's not loud. The movies get that wrong. Power is a man who hasn't raised his voice in 8 years, and whose coffee is always warm, and who is never, ever surprised. You are becoming that man. You can feel the temperature of your own face flattening. Maria's gone. Not dead. Gone. She left 3 years ago, quietly, the way things in this life leave. She took the kid on a Tuesday and she didn't slam the door, and that was worse than slamming it. You find her number in your phone sometimes at 2 a.m. You don't call. Calling is a weakness you can't afford, and also you don't know what you'd say. And also, and this is the part that keeps you up, you're not sure the man holding the phone is the man she'd want to hear from. Your mother dies in the house you bought her. You're there. She looks at you at the end, and she doesn't say what she knows. You don't confirm it. She dies with it, unsaid between you, like a closed door in the hallway. You bury her in the good cemetery, and you stand at the grave and you feel nothing you can name. Flat, warm, gone. You're the boss now, Don, whatever the word is. You sit at the head of a family that spans boroughs you can't walk freely anymore. You try not to be seen in the restaurants you want, not to stand on the corners you grew up on. You move in cars with tinted windows, and you meet in basements, and you pay men to watch the men who watch you. This is the thing they don't put in the poster. The top of this ladder is a cage. You have more money than you can spend and fewer places you'd risk spending it. You have more loyalty than you can verify, and you verify none of it, and you sleep with one ear open.
A captain comes to you, a good one, loyal for years. He tells you there's a problem with another family, a territory thing, a slight. He's asking permission to lean, to push, to do more. You sit with it. You know that whatever you decide, someone dies or someone goes to prison, and either way the commission will want to talk to you. And either way it's your name on the quiet order that never gets written down. You give the nod. One nod, down, the way you've seen it done. You don't ask what happened after. That's the insulation working for you. You understand sitting there that you've become the man the layers were built to protect, and that the protection is also a kind of deafness, and that the deafness is the only reason you can still sleep at all, which you can't. An indictment comes down. They always do.
Not today, not tomorrow, but the gears are turning. Wiretaps, flipped witnesses, a grand jury in a building downtown with fluorescent lights. You can feel it the way you feel weather changing. Your knee aches. Your phone is too quiet. You start reading the room wrong. You realize slowly that nobody at your table will warn you. Not because they're disloyal, because the moment the warning would matter, they'll already be calculating which side of the insulation they want to die on. They come at 6 in the morning. You're already dressed. You've been dressed since 4. You're new. You pour out your coffee. You tell the man at the door, the federal one, the polite one, I figured it'd be you. The courtroom smells like floor cleaner and old paper. Fluorescent light. The same light as Maria's mother's kitchen. And you think of that. And you don't know why. The numbers are red. Years. Big ones. The kind of number that's just a way of saying you will die in a building that is not your home. You sit in a cell the size of the social club's back room. Quieter. You have time now. You have nothing but time. You do the count, the number from the beginning. You get to the end of it, and you don't feel better. You feel like a man who finished a list he never wanted to start. Your kid visits, once. He's grown. He looks like you at 19, and that's the cruelest mirror this life leaves running. He sits across the glass, and he doesn't say much. He doesn't have to. You can see the question he's not asking. Was it worth it? You don't answer, because you don't have an answer. Because worth was never the right frame for this. Worth is for jobs. This wasn't a job. This was a tide. You stepped in at 14 because the water was warm, and it was the first warm thing. And by the time you understood the current, you were already out past where you could touch bottom. And you spent the rest of your life pretending you were swimming. The last image, not you. A spook. A neighborhood, could be any of them. A kid, 14. Oversized jacket, quiet apartment, tired mother somewhere. A man at a frosted window waves him over, puts a white envelope on the table. Don't look inside, he says. There's a 20 in it for you. The kid doesn't look inside. The ladder doesn't end. It just finds a new pair of legs.